Ladies and gentlemen, it's our distinct honor and privilege to be allowed today to witness a historic event. And in order to help facilitate that, I'd like to introduce my good friend, the State Fire Marshal, Jim Greason.
Well, good morning. Thank you, Bobby. It's always an honor to be on this stage where so many fire professional leaders have the opportunity to speak, and it's a privilege to be here. And good morning, everyone, and welcome back to Indy. I've been a long time participant here and enjoy seeing everyone every year. This is a day that somebody's going to have to slap the smile off my face. This is a long time coming. I joined the fire service in Indianapolis here in 1970. And through those years, the vision of the State Fire Academy has always been in the forefront. Some 21 years ago, I was fortunate enough to be part of a team led by Chief Keith Smith of the Indianapolis Fire Department to go to Cincinnati and talked about the folks who were putting on the FDIC program at that time in Cincinnati. That's 21 years ago. Fast forward 21 years to today. FDIC has been in Indianapolis now for 20 years, and really in central Indiana. I mean, if you think how it's grown, several counties, fire departments from throughout central Indiana, from probably, if you take the total distance of departments, 60, 70 miles away, that provide resources and manpower to assist with the training, and it's just a phenomenal conference. So I've been very, very fortunate to be part of many events that have occurred, and today is a crown jewel of that opportunity. Today, with the leadership of our governor, Mike Pence, who had the vision and the intensity to make a State Fire Academy training system a priority in his administration, to get this bill introduced and through the legislature is a huge commitment. And I want to thank him and give him a hand for that, everyone. You know, the governor took the ball from the 20-yard line, advanced it up the field, and dove into the end zone. And here we are. It's my opportunity and privilege today to bring forward a group of individuals who have had direct responsibility in getting this legislation authored, created, and passed. And I'll just tell you that through the legislative process here in Indiana, you get the bill introduced, it has to get assigned to committees, you go to hearings, it may have an amendment, it goes back through hearings, it goes to the House, it goes to the Senate, has hearings in the Senate, then it gets voted on. Through all that process, this bill had not one dissenting vote. Everything was unanimous. Every legislator from both sides of the aisle unanimously supported this bill, and I want to applaud those folks too. So I'm going to introduce some folks that are going to come on stage. And we're going to form up here for the governor's going to come out and speak here in a few minutes. But the author of the bill was State Representative, retired Lieutenant IFD firefighter Randy Fry and his wife and family. His son's a captain on the Carmel Fire Department. Co-authors of the bill, Carly Macer. Other co-authors, Tim Wesco is a state representative, also a firefighter. Dan Forrestall, State Representative firefighter, who I had the privilege to hire on IFD while I was still chief there. From the State Senate, Senator Michael Crider is a sponsor. Senator John Ford. Senator Jim Arnold, who gave a rousing, overwhelmingly endorsement of this bill in the hearing. I don't see Senator Hirschman or Senator Bass. Are they not here? Okay. And then in addition to that, we have representatives from the Indiana Fire Alliance. Let me just mention Indiana Fire Alliance. About 5 years ago, Chief Joe Cruzan from Cherville Fire Department in northern Indiana, I got that right,
Thank you, Michael.
was with the State Fire Chiefs Association. He had a vision of creating an Indiana Fire Alliance. And we put together the Indiana Fire Alliance which are members of the Indiana Fire Chiefs Association, the Indiana Professional Firefighters Union of Indiana, the Indiana Volunteer Firefighters Association, the Indiana Firefighters Association, and the State Fire Marshal's Office. And this group, this cohesive group in the last 5 years has made great strides in the fire service in the state of Indiana, and that's what we're here to do is support the fire service. Other representatives up here are from our EMA directors, or back there somewhere, and EMS. And one other individual that's up here, Dr. O'Neill, where are you over there? A year ago this week, during FDIC, Dr. O'Neill, John Buckman, Chief Buckman, and myself, I forgot to introduce my executive director. I apologize. The executive director of the Department of Homeland Security, John Kane. I would be remiss if I don't introduce my boss. Chief Buckman and Dr. O'Neill sat in the executive director's office and talked about a vision of a state fire academy training system. Dr. O'Neill's been a supporter of this from day one. And I can tell you, many of you, if not all of us, have attended the National Fire Academy. And there is not one time that I've ever been to the National Fire Academy when Dr. O'Neill is on campus that he doesn't come in a classroom and sit and listen and ask how it's going and ask for input. What a great leader. So this is our assembled group. Our good friend Bobby Halton is going to come back and introduce Governor Mike Pence for a few words. Thank you all. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand and help greet the governor of the great state of Indiana, Governor Mike Pence.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Bobby, I appreciate that. I appreciate the hospitality today and for us to make some history and make an extraordinary down payment on a debt that we owe to the heroes of our firefighter and public safety community here in the state of Indiana. But first, let me just say to Bobby and the whole team at FDIC International, we are honored to have you all back in the Hoosier State. I am told that FDIC last year was the largest FDIC ever, more than 30,000 attendees, 55 countries. This is larger than ever. Indiana is proud to be the international gathering place for heroes in the firefighters community, and I welcome you all. I can't help but think of what Abraham Lincoln, who, if you didn't know, was a Hoosier, by the way. He was born in Kentucky at about the age of 9. I'll say this to these little kids here. About the age of 9, Abraham Lincoln moved to a little farm in southern Indiana. And he would say later in life, he said, if you gave me 6 hours to chop down a tree, I'd spend the first 4 hours sharpening the axe. And that really is what FDIC International is all about. It's about making sure that those who teach, those who save, take the time to sharpen the axe. There's that old proverb that says, if the axe is dull and its edge is unsharpened, more strength will be needed. So I want to commend FDIC International and commend all of you for your ongoing commitment to improve your skills. You are saving lives all across this country and all across the world. And thank you all for allowing our State Fire Marshal and this gathering of distinguished Hoosiers from our legislature and from our public safety and firefighters community to barge in on your convention to make a little bit of history in Indiana. When I was running for governor of the state, it became very clear to me that the time had come for a new step in Indiana, for us to move forward with the creation of a fire safety academy, and we included it in our roadmap for Indiana as I was applying for this job. But we put it together with a broad group of individuals. We brought around the table Indiana Fire Chiefs Association, Volunteer Firefighters Association, Professional Firefighters Union, and the list went on, along with our Indiana State Fire Marshal. I agreed with their concept, but I also told them this couldn't be just another fire academy. The system needed to be expanded to include more public safety elements like emergency medical services, emergency management, telecommunications, and the others. We engaged in an intensive study with more than 50 career and volunteer firefighters, instructors, chiefs, emergency management personnel, and they began discussions that would go forward and bring together input from states around the Midwest. And we came up with 4 basic ideas, and as I signed this into law and Indiana launches this important new initiative in our state, I thought I'd share them with those who teach in this place. First, our conclusions were that training must be standardized. Under the current fire training system, each of our 10 district fire training councils in Indiana develops its own training plan. And we truly do believe that standardized training will save lives across the Hoosier State, as one department knows the standards and the foundations of other departments in our state. Secondly, to ensure standardized curriculum is being taught, it was agreed that quality assurance must be a priority. Quality assurance is already taking place within our current system, but the state reaches out to instructors and evaluators to make sure they're using current curriculum, but quality assurance was our second priority. And that, of course, leads to the third priority, which came from the summit of these public safety leaders and officials, and that was consistency in training, with instructors teaching the same foundational curriculum no matter where firefighters receive their training. I believe it'll make it possible to have better trained and safer firefighters and public safety professionals. And the final concept is the cornerstone of Indiana State Fire and Public Safety Training Academy, and that is that attendees to the summit all unanimously agreed that the training must continue at the district training centers as well. Government that governs least governs best. We want to be trained at home in our communities, and we also want to come together in a statewide academy to learn between agencies and departments about best practices to serve the people of our state. Well, the infrastructure is all in place. Those centers are already in place, and we're going to build on that. Now, there's lots of advantages of what we're doing here today, and as I put my signature as governor of the state of Indiana to the legislation before us today, creating the Indiana Fire Training Academy. There are benefits that are certainly economic. There are benefits going forward for growth in Indiana and for standardization, as I've mentioned. But let me close simply by saying with a great deal of humility that the greatest benefit here is the ability for those who run in when others run out, those who run in to save our families, save their lives at the risk of our own, are now going to be better equipped to save Hoosier families in generations to come and return home safe to theirs. You know, I've got a firefighter in my family. My cousin's been married to a firefighter in Chicago. He's been full-time on the job for more than 20 years, and not counting the time that he was off on disability. Ironically, he's a Chicago firefighter and he's Irish. What are the odds of that? But I know firsthand from our family that the job that each one of you have and the job that each one of you serve as trainers is really different in every respect from almost any other job. The families that are represented here understand full well what my extended family understands, and that is when you and those that you train walk out the door in the morning, there are no promises, except the promise that you've made to the people of your community and your state to act with courage and conviction and selflessness to save lives. And so let me say, as I put my signature to the creation of the Indiana State Fire and Public Safety Training Academy, I will do so in the spirit of paying a debt that we can never fully repay, to those who are called to rush in when others rush out. And I will sign it with a quiet prayer. My simple prayer will be that God Himself would use the training that would take place in this Fire Training Academy to better equip our heroes to save the lives of Hoosier families and be returned home that day to theirs in safety. Thank you very much, and thank you for all that you do to keep our families and our nation safe. Thank you, Mr. Andy, this is your day.
Yes, it is.
Okay. All right. Everybody look forward.
Ladies and gentlemen, Governor Mike Pence. Good job, buddy. Thank you. Governor, hey, anything, anytime. Seriously. Gentlemen. Outstanding. Good, good. All right. If you're staying for Billy, stay. If not, we'll see you at the 5K fun run tonight, every single one of you. Then Stop, Drop, Rock and Roll, MSA's block party. Have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow.